We can. Hello, my name is Douglas Shaw and this is the technical review of the Lake MXZ400, the world's biggest cycling shoe. This is just the box. I just made it up. I don't know if it is the world's biggest cycling shoe, but it certainly looks like the world's biggest cycling shoe. This box is absolutely massive for a start, and this is the size 47 shoe. And just to give you some sort of scale, this is my forearm, and it's pretty much eating it up alive. This is the Lake Winter Extreme Last, so the overall volume inside the shoe is more than any other Lake shoe that is made. So the primary sort of bit of advice I would give people who are interested in buying this shoe, especially if they've got quite low volume feet, is just to consider buying a set of like off the shelf even like orthotics like Superfeet Carbon, or maybe even Lake's own like carbon insole, the heat molded one. It just adds a lot more stability, if you like, to your foot inside the shoe with a sort of volume of this size. The shoe itself has got loads of insulation inside it, so just to kind of give you an idea by pulling it open, if I pull out the insole here, it's a super highly insulated insole that just comes standard with it. Obviously if you're going to buy an orthotic, you'd pull this out and put it in. But there's just loads and loads of that kind of like fuzzy material inside the shoe, so generally like recommend that you want to buy a size up if you're buying this boot. And I've seen it myself a couple of times with customers who've come into the store for shoe fits. Generally they're leaving with a size bigger than normal. Now I didn't believe that, of course, and so then when I tried the shoes on myself in a size 42.5, which is what I take, of course they don't fit, so I'm trying a size 43.5. The one thing I do that most people don't in the winter time is ride with summer socks, just because I don't like loads and loads of bump around my feet, but that's just my preference. These shoes are rated down to like -20 degrees, so there's an awful lot of scope, if you like, for riding these shoes from Scotland to the Arctic Circle probably. Moving around the shoe next, you've got this kind of sub-zero sole. When I say sub-zero, all I mean is that the rubber is still nice and soft when it's really cold, which just means there's a little bit more grip. Obviously that doesn't mean you can like run and walk on wet ice and expect not to trip over if you're not careful, but at the same time there's just a little bit more traction underfoot. And the shoes are compatible with 2-hole cleats, so you would be riding a Shimano SPD or a Hope or a Crank Brothers pedal with these. They don't come in a 3-hole version. So the next part of the shoe that we're going to cover is like the upper. So just to start off with the reflective panels, they start along the front of the shoe and they go down the back like all Lake shoes, just a little bit of extra visibility is built into them. Now there's different types of leather on the upper of this shoe. So around the front of the shoe you have this Hellcore leather, and that's really hard, firm leather, so it's going to take loads of abuse from tree stumps, rocks, smacking it off your tire, smacking it off your pedal, tripping over rocks, getting it muddy, wiping it up, wiping it down, getting it wet, getting it dry. There's loads and loads of protection built into these shoes. They're going to last you years and years. Unless you cut them up yourself on purpose, they really will last you. The quality of the stitching in the leather, of course, is super high. You can pull that bow lace really hard, it's never going to go anywhere. You can really kind of abuse these for years and they'll be able to take it. They're still really nice and soft as well. As I'm touching this, it's really nice to touch. There's insulation as well built into the shoe, so there's like a Thinsulate, as I pulled this out earlier on, it's like a Thinsulate 400 gram insulation. They're super warm. Now moving around to the closure, there's 2 bow laces on this. So you've got bow lace on the tall bit of the shoe. I'll take this up, put it down, it just kind of clips into these parts here. Let's show you. Nice warranty with the bow laces. You've got the bow lace on the toe as well, so when you're putting these shoes on they also come apart just kind of for easy access. So pull that off, pull this off, and it opens right up. and you can put this on your foot. I would put it on, but I'm a size 43 and these are size 47, so there's probably just a little bit more room than would be necessary, so it's going to be silly if I put these on. And very good. There's loads of grip as well, and actually if you had winter gloves on, there's loads of access for kind of tightening these up properly. They're just a little bit bigger than like normal boas, so they'd be quite easy if you've got big fumbly winter gloves on to tighten them up. Although if you're riding outside in -20, you probably don't want to take your gloves off to tighten these up very often. And I would just say, like, don't buy these shoes if you're just riding around in sort of cold winter normal conditions. So when I say that, I'm like, if you live in Scotland or kind of England or whatever, like anywhere in the UK, unless you were riding up the mountains and you expect the temperature to be like in the 0 to the -5 and like really wet and really horrible, if you're just riding around like above 0, these shoes are going to be like overkill. So you might want to consider the MXZ400 or the CX or MX146 shoes if you're looking for something that's amazing but just isn't unbelievably warm, because this is kind of on the unbelievably warm scale factor. It's really kind of, I can't really overstate how great this shoe is in terms of keeping your feet warm. And that's the door knocking. Ironic that the door knocked there and it was the delivery man delivering us more lake shoes. So lastly, the shoes are coated with a kind of durable, water resistant coating. They do wear away over time, so if you were just to pour a glass of water on these shoes, which I'm not going to because they're for a customer, but if I was to pour a glass of water on these shoes, they would just fall off and bead off. And when they're tightened up properly, there's no way water's getting inside, just because the way that it closes in. So the gap, if you like, here, this encapsulates and closes over it. So by the time this is fully tightened up, it's going to be very difficult for water to get into there because it's going to be so tight, and it's fully sealed around the tongue. So you would have to be submerging your foot for extended periods of time up to the kind of upper ankle and above, even lower shin, to get any sort of water ingress inside the shoe. So just be careful with that. But certainly like rain, sleet or very cold weather, nothing's just going to get in there and make your feet cold. All in, this is a really good shoe. It's not really the lightest shoe, but I don't think you would be, well, I guess you'd be forgiven for thinking it was quite heavy, but it's not outrageously heavy itself. So even like to pick this up, it's not as if this is like unbelievably heavy, but there are lighter versions of it. So if you're looking for a lightweight warm winter boot, this isn't for you, but at the same time, it is, for what it is, unbelievably light, super high performing, all extreme weather cycling boot. And there you go, the MXZ400. Thank you.